Take control of your mind the way you do your breathing. In through your nose and out through your mouth. Legs crossed, back straight, eyes closed. Feeling the power of you controlling your own breathing. The same way you control your mind. One breath at a time, one thought at a time. Good air and thoughts in, bad air and bad thoughts out. Now, let's see our vision today. Let's see ourselves doing the best we can on all the exercises and stretches we do here together today, right now. Go into the future right now. See in your mind's eye. See yourself doing the best you can on whatever exercise we do together. See it so clearly that it feels real. When that music shuts off, if you've already seen it in your mind and you believe that you can make it happen, you're gonna make it real. You're gonna win.
When you're at the bottom and you're feeling stuck, listen to the rhythm, let it take you to the top. One step at a time, move your legs, don't stop. Move your hands like this to the beat, ski bop do bop bop. CLIMB, everybody follow me. Don't let it get you. Climb up Machu Picchu. When you're at the bottom and you're feeling stuck, listen to the rhythm, let it take you to the top. One step at a time, move your legs, don't stop. Move your hands like this to the beat, ski bop do bop bop. Yo, I don't think we'll reach the top, it's way too high. Trust me, you got it. Wave your fears goodbye. I'm scared of heights, that's what I said. I'm telling you, bro, it's in your head. Don't let it get you. Climb up Machu Picchu. Climb up Machu Picchu. Climb up Machu Picchu. Climb up Machu Picchu. When you're at the bottom and you're feeling stuck, listen to the rhythm, let it take you to the top. One step at a time, move your legs, don't stop. Move your hands like this to the beat, ski bop do bop bop. CLIMB, DJ Rafi's on the beat. CLIMB, let's see you dance it with your feet. CLIMB, it's pretty easy, can't you see? Don't let it get you. Climb up Machu Picchu.
Mata, Pogba, Matic! Well, if you're going to win a game, win it with a goal like that. Nemanja Matic has come up with an absolute peach. His first goal for Manchester United.
Good morning, guys.
I want to talk a little bit about money today and how it connects to our minds. You see, I made a huge change in my mindset this year, and it has changed everything for me, and I think it will help you. I shifted from focusing on making money to focusing on producing infinite mind wealth. Every day I ponder, I meditate on my mission statements. When I made that change just before 2018, it's changed everything for me. You see, we all want money. Money is important. It allows us to do great things. We've done some of the greatest things in history through it. But when we don't have it, people, unfortunately, our darker side will do whatever it takes to have it, even if it means illegal methods. And that's the part we can control, because really money is the physical manifestation of our thought energy. So the more we become positive in our mindset, we will have all the money we ever need. Have a great day, everybody.
One of the things that I was talking to my team about when I started thinking about relationships is, as we are transitioning kind of into this new world and into this kind of new way of living, I don't know about you, and I'd be curious if you comment or raise your hand, or I know you're watching in many different places, but are you feeling any anxiety about kind of getting back out into the world and kind of exploring relationships back on a face-to-face basis? Because over the past year, a lot of our relationships have gone digital. And I was doing a little bit of research because there was this common thread on my team, which is a team of women. And we were saying that a lot of times we feel like we're lacking a level of closeness in relationships. Like we don't have a lot of close friends. But actually, when we did research, people generally have 3 to 5 close and personal relationships. That's it. And I think that a lot of times in our lives, we kind of tell ourselves these lies of like, I don't have a lot of friends, or people don't love me, or I don't have a lot of close people in my life. But when I saw that 3 to 5 number, I was like, wait, this is what reality is. Relationships take time and energy and work. And based on what stage of life you're in, that can look totally different. And so thinking about, on average, people having 3 to 5 close and personal relationships, I think that gives us permission to go really deep with our relationships and have them be super quality without worrying about quantity. So I was also curious about how the pandemic affected relationships, what people were reporting. And so what was super interesting is about half, so 46% of people that responded to the survey reported that the pandemic didn't really change their relationship. So about half of the people. Now, of the other half, 27% stated that it improved their relationship, and 27% reported that the pandemic made their relationship worse. So it's super interesting to me because half of the people remained status quo when it comes to relationships, whether that's friendships or love relationships. And then of the other half, it was 50-50 in terms of if it helped their relationship or if it hurt their relationship. And so I just think we're coming at a really interesting place when we're talking about relationships, because everyone's in a different situation. And that's why I love this month on Growth Day, because there are so many different ways to look at relationships: your relationship with yourself, your relationship with your family, your friends, your relationship with money. But knowing also too, kind of taking an assessment of where you're at after this last year and just being really honest, because we're going to get into something I'm really excited about, which is relationship archetypes. And if you kind of come at it from a place of knowing where you're at in a relationship, it'll help. So one of the last things that they found over the last year, so Wolfgang Krieger, he's a Berlin-based psychologist, notes that during the pandemic, people were reducing social interactions and focusing on fewer, closer relationships. So if we get back to that idea of 3 to 5 relationships, close and personal, I think one of the beautiful things of this past year is that it almost challenged us to kind of let go of some of those relationships on the fringe, maybe that aren't serving or that are draining us, and really focus on deepening the relationships that are really personal and important to us. And so I think it's kind of a cool signifier that we were almost granted that permission through the last year. So Speaking of last year, my team and I, we hired an emotional intelligence expert, and it was honestly so fascinating. Her name is Tico Nejan, and she changed my life and she changed my team's life. And in our analysis of emotional intelligence, we had to do these personal assessments. If you've ever done like the Enneagram or the Myers-Briggs, it's very similar to that, where you're kind of rating yourself. And one of the things that Tico called me out on throughout our relationship was that she said, Jenna, I see that you repeat a lot of the same behaviors in your relationships. She said, I sense these like patterns that you have. A lot of times I love to be the person that's the giver. And I'm not saying that as like a toot my own horn, like I love to give, but I love to show up in a relationship where I know I can add value, where I know I can help somebody. And when she called me out on that, she was like, my challenge for you is to like ask for help and not promise anything in return. I'm so bad at that. Like, I hate inconveniencing other people. I hate asking for anything. And she was like, you need to start flexing that muscle, getting better at that. And so Tico started challenging me to like work on relationships that I wasn't always the one giving, or always the one making sure that someone was taken care of. And it honestly was a huge challenge for me. But what's so interesting is, if you've never looked at relationship patterns, these patterns can be both good and bad. It's very similar to knowing your personality type, because when you can start to figure out what type of person you are or how you most commonly show up in relationships, it allows you to just bring this level of awareness to, is this healthy behavior or unhealthy behavior? And our relationships patterns dictate three basic things. So when we nail down what our patterns are, here's the things that they usually dictate. They dictate who we choose. So who are we choosing to be in relationship with? Again, this can be a love relationship, a friendship, whatever that looks like. So the kind of people that we're choosing, the behaviors we exhibit in relationships, or how we show up or act, and what we will allow in terms of how someone else treats us. Okay, so who we pick, the behaviors we exhibit, and what we allow in how we are treated. And so this group, the Science of People, they nail down 5 main archetypes of relationships. So listen closely. I'm going to walk through the 5 main types. So the first type of person that generally shows up in a relationship is the caregiver. So the caregiver is when you're always trying to take care of or fix someone. You might seek out a relationship with someone who you believe needs to be fixed, even if they don't agree or they don't acknowledge that. So the first type is the caregiver. The second type is the alpha. So you want to be the dominant force, the one who makes the decisions, the person in charge. You kind of create the rules of the relationship. The third type is the parent. And I kind of giggled at this one because you take on a more maternal or paternal role. And it said, like, if you're constantly nagging your spouse to empty the dishwasher or pay the bills on time or put their shoes away. And I was like, oh gosh, is that me? But it's where you're parenting the other person. And so the third one is the parent. The fourth one is the codependent. So you lose your individuality to become this unit. You become kind of one with the other person, and you each kind of give up your individual identities to kind of create a new one together. That's the codependent. And then the last one is the push-pull. So this is the more volatile approach to relationships. It's the type of relationship where you commonly make up and break up. There's a lot of drama. Highs are high, the lows are low. So again, the 5 are caregiver, alpha, parent, codependent, and the push-pull. And I think it's super interesting because you can take on traits of different ones with different relationships, but what they found is that generally we show up as one main type, and that our relationships, who we choose, how we act, and the behaviors that we accept are generally based off of that archetype. And I thought that was so interesting. If you know which one you are, comment so that I can see. I'm just super curious. So when Tico, our emotional intelligence expert, called me out, I recognized I'm generally the caregiver, the person who loves to help and fix and come in and make things better. But I realized that, like, I need to kind of back off of that a little bit and also ask for care to be delivered back without strings attached. That's what a relationship is, right? It's not one-sided. And so awareness around the role is just something that can really heighten how you show up. And it can also kind of give you pause when you're in certain scenarios where you're prone to be the alpha or to parent or to create that push and pull, that drama, so that you can kind of take a step back and really enrich your relationships.
Now I know my ABC. It's time to dance with me. J C K G Now we do the ABC with DJ Rafi on the beat. It's time to shout along with me. Get up and dance in 1, 2, 3. A B C D E F G H I J K L M N O P Q R S T U V W X Y and Z. Now let's do it backwards. C Y X W V U T S R Q P O N M L K J I A G F E D C B A. Okay. Now let's do it double time. Are you ready? Let's make it rhyme. A B C D E F G H I J K L M N O P Q R S T U V W X Y Z. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, let's go. A B C D E F G H I J K L M N O P Q R S T U V W X Y and Z. Now I know my ABC. It's time to
A dagger through Crystal Palace. What a way to start for Brazil. What a hit from miles out. Coutinho. Brazil leading the World Cup.
Morning, guys. In our top 10 rules for success journey today with Jack Ma, he shares rule number 8, which stands out for me, and that is customers are number 1. So when I think about this and the impact it's had in my life, it is so important for all of us to remember. Again, we want to shift away the focus from anything else other than helping people. So wherever you are, you don't have to have a company, whatever you're doing today. For myself, my job is teaching. My customers are students. And when I see them happy and they're motivated and they're learning, there is no greater value in the world. So I want you to think about the people you interact with today. Your job is to bring value to their life through control of your mind and being as positive as possible as you can be. So Jack Ma, he says customers always come first. That's why his company is so successful. Let's learn from this great thinker and let's add value to people's lives because that's what matters most. Have a great day, everybody.
The process of doing something you actually like is my great addiction. The fact that I am able to actually wake up, day in and day out, sleep easily for 7-8 hours a night, and wake up genuinely excited while always being prepared to grab my phone and know that I have a problem in my 300-person Singapore office, or something happened in LA, or one of the other 17 businesses that I'm associated with are in trouble. I sit on top of almost 3,000 employees and 2 very large businesses actively as the CEO, and then on the board of 4 others, and heavily invested in others, and many other things I'm involved with. I have plenty going on, but the fact that I do what I want to do enables all of it to work. This is grounded in something that is the absolute answer for this entire arena. The one thing I can absolutely speak on that fundamentally touches every person here is the relationship between self-esteem and insecurity. All of the things that you do are based on this. If you look at what's really been going on with people for a very long time, why, when one is sold fear, that they believe it, versus when they're sold fear, that they don't? Why so few people have a framework of believing in optimism versus protecting themselves with cynicism? Why people lack patience? I can tell you right now that for the majority of people in this room that want something to happen, the biggest flaw in their mental framework and perspective is their lack of patience. It is why I make so much content around people that are 22, 25, 35, 40, and laughing and joking and trying to some way, somehow communicate to them that they are extremely young.
Need motivation?
Watch a top 10 with Believe Nation.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because in my first business, I quit on my business partner. I was making $300 a month, and I didn't have the motivation to keep going. And the thing that got me through was studying the stories of entrepreneurs who've had massive success. And I hope that in sharing these stories with you, you find a motivation to keep going. And if I'm being honest, I still need the stories for myself today too. So today, let's learn from one of the best, Gary Vaynerchuk, and my take on his top 10 rules of success. Enjoy. Rule number 2, reframe success.
I think it's really disingenuous to not talk about the fact that a lot of people are selling things that they cannot believe. There was a human being on stage yesterday who said, we believe that people watch television so that they can watch our commercials.
Capture his face.
Remy, not 1992, not 1982, not 1972, not 1962, not 1952. There was never a time ever that people decided, I'm gonna watch Leave It to Beaver just so I can catch the Coca-Cola commercial. There was probably, and I've done a lot of homework on this, there was a time where the commercial was a slight enjoyment part. You were curious. It did have a different culture. The remote control had been invented. There was a lot more creative firepower in the ad world in the 50s and 60s. Not because of anything, but because people actually saw the commercials, thus inspired highly creative people to want to make them. And so, yes, I do think that, there's people selling media here that is not transparent media. For all the wonderfulness that is outside, one thing that is not outside in any shape or form ever at Cannes is common sense. There is no version of common sense, otherwise nothing that is being said would be said. And I think that the industry is within itself. I don't think we can go and interview the 8 billion people on earth and ask them to recall 4 commercials that they could today. There is no network television consumption going on. It's all gone to streaming. Yes, I really struggle with that. I think it's incredibly challenging for me to wrap my head around the concept of selling something that in my soul I don't believe in. And I think that happens a lot in our industry.
Rule number 3, be authentically you.
If you poll 1 million people that have ever heard of me and dug in a little bit, nobody's even going to be, this is where I'm complicated. Mm-hmm. This is why I'm attracted to people that are able to decipher it. This is how Jim himself got his job here, trying to get a job separately in Vaynerx, but I wanted him on my team. This is why I leaned into you. If one is emotionally intelligent enough with natural talent to have figured me out, I know they're an incredible partner because I'm extremely difficult. Because for all the people listening right now that kind of know me or have heard of me or actually genuinely don't even love me that much, laugh love. Like that is not what
Live, love, laugh.
that is not what happens with me when I go on stage or when I'm recorded.
Yeah.
What comes out is Macho Man Randy Savage promo videos. What comes out is Chris Rock and Eddie Murphy. What comes out is other things that influenced me in the way that I communicate when a camera is on me.
And you're still saying the same thing.
It's just the way it's being said.
Totally. And that's, yeah.
It's funny. I don't know if you guys saw it. I've seen this at all. Lately, out of nowhere, I've been, for the first time ever, thoughtfully trying to tone down my energy and my speed in communicating, not because of anything else, out of pure curiosity. Back to what we were talking about, testing stuff. It's been really fascinating. Just a 10% off the pedal is just such a different thing in watching the audience consume it. Now, I'm going to still go 150 because it's just where my natural thing is. And again, when I go 140, I'm missing that person who needs 147, who almost nobody else right now can get to.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the only people that can get to the person that's at 147 are the bad guys and gals.
Yeah.
Got it?
Absolutely.
Got it? I have come to realize my place in this Avengers role is I'm going to have to eat judgment from people I admire to get through to people that are only getting influenced by bad, because the other goods don't have that one gear that I have, that cadence, that style. And I'm willing to deal with the ramifications to achieve the actual good goal.
Rule number 4, find real happiness.
I've been thinking about something a lot lately, which is a lot of my friends and acquaintances always ask me why I go so hard, why I'm pushing so hard. You know, because I'm very fortunate at this point in my life that I've put some wins on the board. I've achieved a couple of things. It always reminds me how surprised I am when people ask me this question. It reminds me how many people genuinely believe that financial status is the North Star. Their question is almost always baked in the framework of how much money I've acquired or have. And I always ponder that. It's always so interesting to me how the data, the math, is black and white on this issue. There is absolutely no correlation to one's wealth that maps their happiness. This is black and white. We continue to have a world that is confused that money buys happiness. It continues to be what someone who's hurting thinks is the potion or the antidote to fix it. Yet, we have unlimited amounts of hundreds of millions of people who prove otherwise. We must start there. The concept that you're gonna buy your way to happiness is the biggest falsity in human society, and we must stop doing that.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there. Rule number 5, believe in your dreams.
At 22, the only thing I
מחשבות טובות, מה דיבורים טובים,
מחשבות טובות, איי 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 איי, דיבורים טובים, איי 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 איי, נחמות נחמות טובות, איי 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 דיבורים טובים, איי איי עין טובה, מחשבה טובה, מחשבות טובות, איי 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 איי, דיבורים טובים, היי, מחשבות טובות, איי 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 איי, דיבורים טובים, איי 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 איי, מחשבות טובות, איי 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 איי, דיבורים טובים, איי 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 איי.
And it comes to McGinn. Oh, what a goal! John McGinn with a blockbuster. That is sensational. Surrounding their Spurs and didn't let him through.
Good morning, guys. I got to borrow from Les Brown again today. A funny moment in his speech, video I was watching, and it is connected to money, and we're on this path to infinite mind wealth, which I believe will allow us to have something greater than any value of money can have. Well, we may be at a point right now where we don't have as much money as we'd like, or maybe we're broke. He laughs at the situation of his life, and this is a guy that went from nothing to extraordinary, from rags to riches. So he laughs now. He looks back on his life. He says there was a time when he would be so broke that when he went through alarms, he would trip the alarms. When I heard that, I thought, that is hilarious. So there was so much coins and change in his pocket that he would trip all the alarms, all the metal detectors. He's laughed. He's able to laugh at his growth for infinite mind wealth. So even if you're in a tough place right now, you're not going to be there if you continue to work on your mind wealth. Have a great day, everybody.
Billions of people are going to get smaller as a result of this global reset. This reset is going to create massive opportunities. This is where wealth is created in very short periods of time. Anybody can get this wealth. No matter what happens today, I'm going to wake up Saturday morning and I'll be like, I'm starting over from zero again.
Right.
I'm not starting from where yesterday ended. I'm starting from zero.
That's right.
And so I keep accumulating like that. I don't mean money. I mean customers, success, and that becomes the unbreakable business that we talk about. The crew breaks before the ship does. So that's what's going to happen in a recession. Your crew's going to break up. Loyal people are going to blow off. People are going to quit jobs that should not quit jobs. You're not going to have to fire people. They're just going to quit. Like people go Looney Tunes because there's bad news everywhere. No matter how big and powerful you get, you still have Achilles heels. Your business plan becomes your business plan. You know, it becomes the thing that, like, if I know your business plan, then I can participate in your business plan.
Need motivation? Watch a top 10 with Believe Nation.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because when I started my first business, I really struggled to believe in myself. I was making $300 a month and quit on my business partner. And the thing that saved me was watching the stories of successful entrepreneurs. They gave me strategies as well as hope and belief that just maybe I could do it myself as well. And I hope that this video here today helps you get a little bit more belief in yourself, because I still need the videos for myself today too. So today let's learn from one of the best, Grant Cardone, and my take on his top 10 rules of success. Enjoy. Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1. Expand your thinking.
Nothing's really happened, by the way, in these recessions. Nothing's really changed. It's just an illusion that somehow, oh my God, there's no money now. No, the money's still there. Nothing's really changed except everybody's mindset. Everybody still has to eat. They still have to wear clothes. They still have to travel. They still want to have sex and procreate and have fun and go to the movies. And everybody wants to do the same stuff. You still got 8 billion people on the planet growing every day. The thing is, there's fewer people going for it. This is what I always say, man. There's an abundance amount of money on planet Earth and a shortage of people going after it.
And this is the perfect time for
This is
people
it.
to go all out.
Bro, this is it, because what happens if you 10x your efforts for just short periods of time, maybe 6 or 8 or 9 months, and start building out a new network of people, what happens is people are going to back out, and you're going to look up and you're going to be like, there's only 3 or 4 of us on the field. Like there's only going to be a handful of people playing the game. Everybody else is just, oh, I'm grateful. You know, we're better off than the Pakistanians and the Palestinians and the Cubans you're always comparing yourself to some third world country that's not developed. This is what people do all the time, by the way. Okay, there's some village in Africa where they don't have running water. I hear this story all the time. These people, you ever been to Africa?
Glad we have food.
You don't even know what you're talking about. You're comparing. You could always find somebody worse off to compare yourself to, when what you should be doing instead,
Looking up.
is setting an example for all the people that are below you or side of you that are suffering, and say, no, man, we should be expanding and have prosperity in all times, especially in tough times.
Rule number 2 is set the right target.
Most people just simply have the wrong target. Most small businesses in America break even or lose money because they have the wrong target. They're just like, I just want to make 70 grand out of my business. I want to own my business. I want to be the boss. The boss of what? And so first thing we do is fix the target. What is the target? This reset is going to create massive opportunities. This is where wealth is created in very short periods of time. Anybody can get this wealth because the big money is going to sideline. It has to sideline because it's public. A little more complicated, but they're public, so they have to be careful. Okay, and you don't. You need to take risk right now.
Rule number 3 is raise your game.
Intention is senior to mechanics. And I was like, that was a game changer for me. I'm like, man, I need to keep, for me, that means like my understanding of that concept is the intention, where I want to get, not am I a good person or not? The intent, what the goal or target is, needs to be 80% of my energy. So I'm going to get to 5 billion. Now, the next thing I'm going to do, I'm not going to take a piece of paper out. I might take a piece of paper out, figure out how many deals I need to do, but that's where it becomes problematic, because I'm like, okay, if my average deal size is 50 million and I need to get to 50 billion, I need 1,000 deals.
Right.
Like I can't even buy one deal right now, much less 1,000. And then you get stuck in this problem, this bigger problem. And then you're like, there's no way. And you give up on your goal and your intention now. And then you start cutting everything. That's why if you've ever heard me say, never reduce the target, that's what I was talking about. Don't reduce the target, increase the activity to the point to where your goals, in my case, my goals should be so big that it gives me new questions to ask. And the new question would be, who do I need to meet to do a $50 billion deal?
Right.
Well, the buddies that I have right now in Clubhouse, Jonathan, Jerry, Glenn, David Spizak, Brian Benstock, they can't help me, dude.
Correct.
Those people cannot help me get to 50 billion. They can be buddies.
Sure.
So that's why if you look at that list of people I gave you earlier that I'm studying, they've all done them up. They've all done 50 billion and more.
Right.
So that's what I need to start realize. Hey, what did these cats do? Who do they know? What do they now? I'll just tell you another thing that's crazy, because I just found this out. I was talking to some Wall Street guys, and I'm like, dude, I hate these Wall Street people. And I said, I'm just not accepted there. I'm not like them. And the guy looked at me and says, bro, it's because you're talking to the wrong people. He didn't say bro, by the way, but he says, it's because he's like, Grant, you're not talking to the top of the food chain. The top of the food chain is exactly like you.
That's interesting.
They would never judge you. They would never criticize you. They would only admire you. They would want to pick up the bill with you. They would think they were with a brother. He says, it's everybody they hired below him that is threatened by you. They said, the reason you don't feel comfortable talking to these people is because you're talking to one level below who you should be talking to.
Rule number 4 is make a decision.
The first thing you have to do when you want to do anything, you have to make a decision. A lot of people brush over this and say, oh, I got to make a decision. Yeah, no, but you have to make a decision that you're not going to be the same in any event. Like this moment that you're having right now on the internet, watching us in this interview, you cannot reproduce this moment. You can wish it, want it, walk on fire to get it. You cannot reproduce it. It can't happen. No matter how many decisions you make, you cannot reproduce this one moment. The future, however, can be created out of decisions. Like, what decisions am I going to make to go from here to there? If I don't make that decision, I don't go there. Everything follows a decision, whether you know it or not. Billions of people, not millions, not hundreds of millions, billions of people are going to get smaller as a result of this global reset. These are resets. These are redistributions of wealth, whether you believe it or not. If you go back the last couple 100 years, they've been doing this over and over again. You know, there's this old thing about if you took all the money on the planet, equally distributed to everyone, it would somehow, in a very short period of time, end up in the same hands. Why? Because those people have specific strategies. One, they're making decisions to create wealth for themselves. 2, massive wealth. It's not little bits of wealth. They want massive amounts of wealth. Okay. 2, they know how to market themselves. Now, I'm not talking about social media marketing. I'm talking about, how do I just market myself with you or with you right now? How do I market my brand? Apple knows how to do it. Coca-Cola, General Electric, the companies that are hot, Netflix knows how to do it. You have to learn how to do that in order to get money to follow attention. So the first pillar is the decision to get bigger. You and your family have to make this like you and your wife did.
Yeah.
My wife and I, okay, my kids are on board. I got an 11-year-old and 13-year-old. I'm like, look, our decision is to get bigger. And that requires some sacrifices.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there. Rule number 5 is learn to be strategic.
You're very scrappy. And so it's like, do you ever worry like calling out the BlackRocks and these guys? I mean, like, you're basically, you know, standing there poking them like.
Well, it's not a good thing to do if you're going to stay small. But if you have what they want, they'll forgive you. So what we're doing is we're very strategic about collecting the kind of assets that they are forced to eat.
And back to legs crossed, back straight, eyes closed. Feeling the power of you regaining control of your breathing. No matter how fast your breathing became, your heart started pumping faster. Started automatically going faster. Right now, we get to take control of our breathing. To keep our back straight, our eyes closed, and our legs crossed. The same way we get to take control of our thoughts, our mind, at any time, which will then control our bodies and our feelings directly. That's how powerful you are. But you have to believe 100% in this power, this infinitely intelligent being within you and all of us. You gotta believe with all your heart and soul that you can do something. If you don't believe in yourself, nothing else or nobody else will. We're all looking to you. We're all looking to each other to find out the truth of what is already in us. We hold the key, each and every one of us. It all starts with our power to believe 100% in who we really are. That's the greatest determination you can make. 100% believing in you, no matter what, no matter how many mistakes, how many so-called failures, losses, pain, suffering you've experienced. You get to learn from all of it. You get to realize the truth, that there is no such thing as failure. There is only fuel from our mistakes and our losses, which gets transformed, gets used to create our determination.